Yo, what's up? Back with another video. Dr Mbuyiseni Ndlozi is now facing some backlash for being on Power FM, and that all relates to his employer, Mr. Mkhari, who is the owner of Power FM. So let's read a letter here that was written by Lebo Keswa, a businesswoman and a social commentator. Isn't Lebo Keswa famous? Yes, so this is the lesbian woman. Am I correct to call her that? She's a lesbian woman, LGBTQ, the L being lesbian. She's the one Nota was wearing a shirt with her on it after she had gone on, was it Lungelo KM's podcast, where she spoke about her ex-wife. So they had been in a lesbian marriage.
What's your favorite place to be kissed?
Oh, do we even go there? Okay, follow my eyelashes.
Okay. Done.
How and when did you know we would make it as a couple?
Before I met you.
Right.
And the day I met you, it confirmed it.
And she went wild. She went pretty wild. She seemed quite a crazy person.
She must leave. We were hardly even talking. We were walking past one another when I was there. I was not beating her up. She's lying. She's lying. And the assault in my marriage, I am reiterating, it's something she refuses to talk about in the interviews. They were started by Letoya. Letoya has assaulted me 3 times before I defended myself the 4th time. And these 3 times when I was assaulted, I never mentioned. She's talking about when I defended myself. She wants to glamorize that. So she is not taking responsibility. Every time she's been interviewed, every time she's been asked questions about where the assault starts, she runs away from it. She does not answer. Do you know what I was told? When Letoya hit me the first time, do you know what her father said? I told you when you married her that you are marrying umntwana wamadlozi. Kukhona le dlozi le ndoda eline jealous. Gore wena unyetsi ngwana o wa musadi. So you need to understand how unyetsi lisango menye. O shapuwa ke le dlozi. Letoya is not violent to shapuwa ke le dlozi. Mkhulu, talk about the mind fuck. Hey, you know, when you now start even saying, hey, maybe we intellectualize life too much, you're thinking, hey, no such madlozi. That is how it was justified. Letoya tsama alogobala with a Nigerian drug deal. Khutile ke le dlozi la sfebe. And it's at this point, man. So muto how kata le dlozi la medara go shamos. So basically akina bophelo nje life yake controlwa ke madlozi. So Letoya is perfect. This wife I'm married to is perfect. But these madlozi is batla in different. Hey man, khona le ne go ke butinyana. Ha le nyisitse le dlozi leo. Ke lona ne leng chap butinyana. Go di butinyana ona le skwele. Gore Letoya go bala le mosadi.
And now the crazy has written a letter to Mbuyiseni Ndlozi asking him to put himself right. Let's read it. Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, I write this not just as a concerned South African, but as someone who admires you deeply. You were and still are a formidable intellect, a scholar, a gifted orator, and a revolutionary voice that resonates with the struggles of the marginalized. For over a decade, you stood at the front line of political discourse, challenging power with unrelenting conviction. But today, I find myself grappling with a difficult question. How did you, of all people, end up at Power FM? Surely you are not ignorant of the controversy surrounding the station's owner. You must remember the national outrage when he was accused of gender-based violence against his wife. You must recall the letters, petitions, and impassioned calls from thousands of South African women who insisted that President Cyril Ramaphosa should not participate in the so-called chairman's conversation due to the unresolved allegations. Their cries were heard, and the interview did not happen. But now, here you are, a man who built his career on challenging injustice and speaking truth to power, now aligned with a platform that has been accused of silencing those who dare to hold its owner accountable. Then there's the matter of political neutrality or the glaring lack thereof. You have spent over 11 years as one of the most vocal and passionate members of the EFF. You did not just serve in the party, you embodied its militant spirit, its unwavering opposition to corruption, and its unapologetic pursuit of economic justice. Now you expect the public to believe that overnight you have become an objective commentator on political affairs? How will you fairly interview an ANC official whom you have previously condemned as an enemy of the people? How will you sit across from an EFF representative and question them without bias when you just yesterday were shoulder to shoulder in the trenches? Would you encourage politicians to switch sides as easily as you have without taking a cooling off period? Should we now normalize the idea that one can move seamlessly from being a political soldier to being an objective journalist without so much as a pause for reflection? I cannot help but feel that your transition from fiery activist to talk show host reeks of opportunism. You are a man who once spoke so passionately against the exploitation of workers. Will you now address the fact that Power FM cut staff salaries unfairly as recently as December? Or will you remain silent to protect your position? The true test of your character, Dr. Ndlozi, will come when you are faced with the difficult choice of speaking truth to power, even when that power is your own employer. Were the owner of Power FM to face new allegations of misconduct, would you call him out on your show? Would you demand accountability as fiercely as you once did in Parliament? Or would you choose self-preservation over principle? This is not an abstract question. We have already seen how Power FM treated those who dared to speak out against its leadership. Remember JJ Tabane? He was fired from the station after raising the issue of the owner's GBV accusations on his show.
Thanks to given Mkhari, who just said, "No, Papa, I think you must just come and do a show, man, every day." I said, "Eh?" I said, "Yeah."
Why did he fire you?
Because he beat up his wife, and I talked about it on air. I said he mustn't do that.
Okay. I don't know why.
That's it. I mean, it's a summary.
It's
I mean,
not a,
he can
it's
go
a very
around
good
lying
summary.
about it, but that's what it is. He stopped talking to me after that show.
And when did you get the letter that said you're done?
3 months down the line, Bob Mabena was used as usual to fire me for no apparent reason.
So there was nothing that you had done on air specifically when you were fired, in let's say a day or two?
No, not at all. You know, I was talking about this whole story I told you about Mutambi and so on.
Yeah.
And they decided to use that to fire me to say, no, this is state capture. I mean, honestly.
A man who, like you, prided himself on being a voice for the voiceless, silenced because he dared to hold his employer accountable. Will you be next? Or have you already decided that some battles are no longer worth fighting? Dr. Ndlozi, you were never just another politician. You are a symbol of youthful defiance, of intellectual rigor, of a generation that refused to be silenced. But today, you stand at a crossroads. You will be remembered as a revolutionary thinker who stayed true to his principles, or as yet another bright mind who traded conviction for comfort. You have gifts that many would kill for: your intelligence, your eloquence, your ability to inspire. The question is, what will you use them for now? Will you fight for the workers at Power FM who have been treated unfairly? Will you challenge your employer if the need arises? Or will you go down in history as a nice boy who stood for nothing but his own survival? So I ask Dr. Ndlozi, with all the respect and disappointment that I can muster, who are you and what do you stand for? Are you desperate? Are you hungry? Or have you simply lost the way? Lebo Keswa. Ladies and gentlemen, y'all remember when Chris Brown was here and the venue was packed? But before that, there had been attempts to silence him because of past controversies. Is there anywhere for a man to go after he has committed gender-based violence? Is the man one we should never ever associate with? Should we boycott his businesses? Are Power FM listeners, besides Ndlozi being a host, are the listeners of Power FM complicit or involved in or supporting violence against women by listening? How do we draw and join the dots? I'm a listener. The radio station is owned by a powerful, rich man, a black man. He's made responses in public with his wife standing right by him regarding the matter. So what is to be actually done? Can Lebo Keswa write for us what is a proper response? Because we kind of want to move on with our lives. That's a man and his wife, man. If the wife is still with him, we believe that she's a smart woman who loves that man, who is standing by that man. Lebo, have you written a letter to given Mkhari's wife to ask how she continues to be with a man who has hit her? Should the question be put to Mbuyiseni Ndlozi, really? But seeing as you've put the question across, I am now interested in hearing a response from him because, as you heard in the video that I clipped in earlier, where JJ Tabane actually spoke about the issue with David Mashabela, this seems like it's about to be made a hot issue. But let's see. Dr. Mbuyiseni Ndlozi can give a response to it and whether the storm can pass. Or there will be countless callers who call in now, making sure that his time is difficult and the radio station owner has a very difficult time. Ladies and gentlemen, you tell me what you think. Let me know in the comments. Subscribe, like, share the video. Join me next time as we'll be following Dr. Ndlozi on his journey as a radio host now, a man in the media, a man that we can reach out to. Thank you very much. I'll see you next time.